Hi, welcome to today's lunchtime flow. As always with these online classes, if you are working with an injury or if anything is nice and easy, I can't see you, so you know your limits. Listen to what your body's trying to tell you. So we're going to go through a bit of a flow today, and our focus is going to be on our core. So with that in mind, we also will be using a block. If you don't have a yoga block, don't worry. Grab yourself a little hardback book, bearing in mind that probably the heavier your book is, the more challenging the poses will be. Right, we will get started lying on our backs today. So come to a comfortable position, soles of the feet to touch, let the knees open wide, bring one hand onto your heart and one hand onto your stomach. Just allowing a few moments of stillness before we get moving to just let go of anything that might have been going on in your morning, your week. Just allowing yourself to drop into your yoga practice, this time of clear mind, using the breath to really guide the body, guide the movement. And with your hands on your heart and your stomach, start to feel the expansion beneath the hands as you breathe. So breathing into the chest, the stomach, really finding that full body breath. How much can you expand through the whole of the front body? Also thinking about the whole rib cage here. So as you inhale, maybe you feel the rib cage open outwards, maybe even feel it pressing into the floor beneath you. If you haven't done so already, start to connect your Ujjayi breath, that audible breath in and out through your nose. Maybe taking a moment here to set an intention for your practice ahead. It can be something as simple as focusing on your breath and nothing else for the next 45 minutes. Or maybe it's something a little bit more personal today. And now that you've got that rhythm of your Ujjayi breath, see if you can keep it going as we start to introduce some movement. So gently guide your knees together to touch and hug them in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. It might feel nice here to roll gently from side to side, massaging the lower back. And grab the outer edges of the feet, take a happy baby. So really pull the knees in towards the armpits here. You might want to stay in stillness, or you might want to continue with that gentle rocking side to side. Just starting to check in with the hips, the hamstrings, how are they feeling today? Is there any tightness or resistance to this pose, especially before we warmed ourselves up? Let's let go of the feet, straighten the legs up towards the ceiling, interlace your fingers underneath your head, lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. Keep the elbows open here, so you're not sort of crunching forwards, it's just a gentle lift. Think about lifting the chest upwards. Nice and controlled to begin with. Lower your right foot so it becomes 2 inches off the floor. Lift it back up, lower the left foot down. So we're moving nice and controlled. Swap legs. Keep breathing as you do this. Switch. Think about pulling your tummy button in and up towards your spine. Keep moving at this slower pace than normal. One leg down at a time. Make sure you're breathing. Notice what's going on with the elbows. See if they start rounding in. You want to keep the elbows nice and open. We're going to do this for another 5, for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting both feet up and then release both knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Straight away starting to bring some heat into the body. Bring your knees in towards a chair pose position. Again, interlace your fingers underneath your head. Keeping the chest nice and open, reaching up. We're going to go again, straighten the right leg, bring it 1 inch off the floor. Lift it back up. Go ahead with that left leg. We're going to speed this one up a little bit more. We're going to go for 10. For 9, keep breathing for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and release, hugging both knees in. We're going to take one more little exercise just to really engage the core muscles before we get moving into our practice. Bringing the feet back to that chair pose position, so knees are bent. Interlace fingers behind the head, lift the chest. We're going to take that same movement, but we're going to include our upper body. So as you straighten the right leg, reach the right elbow towards the left knee. Swap sides. Switching sides, let's go for 10. Keep it controlled for 9, 8, make sure you're breathing, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release, hug the knees in. This time, grab the underneath of the thighs, take a couple of rocket rolls up and down along the spine. So just massaging the spine. If this feels good, take 4 or 5. If it doesn't feel so good, just take 1 or 2. And when you have taken as many as you need, make your way to all fours, tabletop position. Hands below shoulders, knees are hip width apart. Spread the fingers wide on the down with each fingertip, each knuckle pad. Let's take a few cat and cows from here. So inhale as you drop the stomach, arch the back, lift the gaze. Exhale as you tuck the tailbone round the spine, chin towards the chest. Inhale as you arch, open up. And exhale to round. Keep moving like this to the speed of your own breath. Maybe you're already feeling it in the core muscles a little bit as you open out. Feel a little stretch along the front body. Maybe close down the eyes here and add in any other twist or turn or movement that feels good in your body. So really allowing your body to guide you here. What does it need to do to get yourself warmed back up? Get those muscles moving. Noticing if there's any points of tension that you want to just really stretch into. Allowing this part of your practice, in fact, all of your practice to be completely free today. So if you feel like going for something alternative as we flow, as we move, give yourself permission today to go with whatever feels right in your body. Last few rounds with whatever movement you're taking. And then in your own time, there's no rush, come to stillness. Tuck your toes under, and we're going to lift our knees just 2 inches off the floor. So lift up. Keep that core. Think about the lower abdomen round the tummy button. Pull it in and up here. Press the earth away. Feel the space in between the shoulder blades. Reach towards the ceiling. Notice what's happening with your breath. Drop the knees down. Let's do that again. If you need a little break on the toes, go ahead. Otherwise, tuck the toes, lift the knees 2 inches. Ujjayi breath. Check in with each finger. Are you pressing down equally with each of your fingers? How about the thumb? Often with the thumb, you start lifting it or you don't have that same engagement, really pressing down with the thumb. Drop the knees, take a breath. Let's go, last one. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees up. 2 inches. Breathing deeply here. Drop the knees back down. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale, take a downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling out the feet here, bending one knee at a time. Maybe even bending through the elbows a little bit, really moving into your strength rather than your flexibility. If you haven't done so already, bring yourself to stillness, but bring your big toes together to touch. Lift your right leg up. Bend your knee and open through the hips. Try and keep the shoulders square here, so the twist is just coming from the lower spine and the hips. How high can you reach your right knee? Moving slowly straighten that right leg back out behind you, and then bend your knee, bringing it all the way in towards your chest. Step your foot in between your hands. You're in a low lunge. Come up onto the fingertips, find length through the spine, and then gently step that left foot behind the right. So your left foot is sort of to the right edge of your right foot. You're crossing at the shins. You can stay on fingertips here, flat palms. If the floor feels really far away, just grab opposite hand to opposite elbow. Let your head hang heavy, reaching the forehead towards the shins. Step that left foot back, followed by the right high plank. Either drop the knees, come all the way down, or bend your elbows, low plank. Upward facing dog, open the chest. Downward facing dog. Big toes to touch, lift the left leg up. Bend your left knee open through the hips. See how close you can bring your left heel to your seat bones. Keep pressing both hands down and forwards here. Straighten that left leg out, and then step the left foot in between the hands. You're in your low lunge. Again, come up onto the fingertips, find length. Then step your right foot to the outside of your left foot, finding that crisscross at the shins again. Choosing if you stay on fingertips, flat palms, or grab opposite hand to opposite elbow, but really drawing the head down. Maybe finding this type of a forward fold a little bit more intense than normal. That crisscross of the shins really gets into the outer edges of the legs. And stepping that right foot back, followed by the left high plank. Again, options to drop the knees or take your chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Walk your feet to your hands. You can bend the knees as much as you need to here. And take a ragdoll. Everyone opposite hand to opposite elbow. Really let the head hang heavy here. If the hamstrings are feeling quite tight today, or if it just feels good, maybe bend through the knees. Let the upper body feel really heavy. Release the hands down. On an inhale, we roll all the way up to standing. Reach your arms up overhead. If you're ready for a small back bend, go ahead. Exhale to fold forwards. Lift halfway, hands to shins, crown of the head reaches forwards. Step it back high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Just gently starting to warm our bodies up. Notice how flowing a little bit more here is feeling today. Big breath in through the nose. As you exhale, walk, step, or maybe jump to your hands. Lift halfway. Fold forwards. Inhale, rise tall. Exhale to fold. Halfway lift. High to low plank. Not rushing through your low plank. As you inhale, you come to your up dog. Squeeze the armpits, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, soften knees, gaze forwards. Lightly jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Bring your big toes to touch, chair pose, bend your knees nice and low. See if you can come up onto your tippy toes in this chair pose. You might feel a little bit wobbly, a little bit shaky, but sink into it a little bit more. Pull your tummy in and up. Start to lean your weight forwards as you reach your fingertips back. So your tummy is just brushing, it's hovering over your thighs. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Can you lift your heels a little bit higher here? Lift your torso back up, but keep the heels lifted. Drop the heels, exhale to fold. Lift halfway. Exhale, step it back into your high plank. Feet to touch. Spin over, side plank, right hand down, left arm up. Options to stay where you are or lift the left leg. If your left leg is lifted and you want to take it further, start to bend your left knee, left elbow, bring them to touch. Straighten back out, 2 more like that. Knee towards elbow. Keep pulling the core in. Last one, knee towards elbow. Straighten back out. Place your left hand down, spin over, side plank on the left. Right arm lifts. Choose if you stay where you are or if you lift that right leg. If it's lifted, you know where we're going. Bring your knee towards your elbow. Enjoy any wobbles or any shakes. 2 more. Knee towards elbow. Straighten out. Last one, knee towards elbow. Kick back out, nice and gently. Place your right hand, right foot down, high plank. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior 1. Inhale, we rise up 2. Exhale, open to your warrior 2. Gaze forward. So gaze is just a little bit ahead of that right foot. Start to tilt forwards. Find your half moon pose. Keep those left toes flexed back towards you. Start to bend that right knee, step it back, warrior 2. Flip your front palm, reverse. Windmill the arms to the mat, high to low plank. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forwards, warrior 1. We inhale to rise. Exhale takes you to your warrior 2. Really focus on your left knee as we come into our half moon. Try not to knock it in, so it's bending towards the baby toe. Shift your weight forwards, let that back leg lift, half moon. Keep that right leg strong here, it's going to help you with your balance. Bend through that left knee, think about which direction it's pointing, warrior 2. Flip your front palm and reverse. Windmill the arms to the mat, high to low plank. Up dog, down dog. Taking a few breaths here in your downward facing dog. Maybe a nice big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and just sigh it out. Let it all go. Reconnect your Ujjayi breath if you've lost it. 1 more full breath in. And as you exhale, soften your knees, gaze forwards, lightly jump to your hands. Lift halfway. Fold. Chair pose, bend your knees, rise tall. Exhale, fold forwards. Halfway lift. Step it back, high plank. We're going to do that little routine once more. So side plank on the right, right hand down, left arm up. Left leg lifts. Bring your knee to your elbow. Moving a little bit faster now, straighten. Knee towards elbow. Straighten out. Last one, knee towards elbow. Straighten out with control. Spinning onto the left, left hand down. Right arm up. Lift that right leg up. Find your balance. Maybe you're wobbling a bit like me. Knee towards elbow. Straighten out. And again, knee towards your elbow. Straighten out. Last one. Knee towards your elbow. Straighten out. Lightly high plank. Low plank. Up dog. Down dog. Right side, warrior 1. Inhale to rise. Exhale, warrior 2. Half moon, lightly just float into it as if it's the easiest thing in the world, even if it's a little bit challenging. Start to bend that right knee, warrior 2. Flip your front palm, reverse. High to low plank. Moving at your own speed here, so move with your own breath. Even if it's not in time with me, don't worry. Downward facing dog. Left foot forwards, warrior 1. Exhale takes you to a warrior 2. Half moon, lightly float into it. You might feel a little bit sticky, a little bit wobbly. Warrior 2. Reverse. High to low plank. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths in our down dog options. Stay where you are. Second option, come to your child's pose, drop your knees, your forehead down. Third option, for those of you that are feeling a little bit energetic today, dolphin. Dropping the forearms down and keeping the sort of body in your down dog shape. So 3 options, let's take 3 more deep breaths wherever you are. Last big breath in. And as you exhale, everyone making your way to a downward facing dog from wherever you are. Bring your feet to touch. Lift your right leg up. Bring your knee to your nose. Really round the upper back. Shift the weight forwards. Hold it here. For 3. For 2. For 1. Kick back up. Bring your right knee to your right elbow. Take that right knee over to the left elbow. Back to the right. Over to the left. Last one, back to the right, kick it back. Bring your knee to your nose. Crescent lunge. Step that foot in between the hands, rise up nice and tall. Get settled into the pose if you need to. Hands come together at heart center. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, twisting towards your right. Hook your left elbow over the right thigh. Really twist the torso open here. You can choose to keep palms together. Maybe you open your arms. Maybe you've got a bind today. Don't worry about the bind if you're newer to the practice. But also don't worry if some days you can bind and some days you can't. That's completely normal. Moving slowly, come back to center, crescent lunge. Think of that same shift we were doing to get to our half moon. So start to shift your torso forwards as you lift that back leg, warrior 3. If you have space in front of you, keep your arms reaching forwards today. I'm lucky I have a wall, so I can't. But if you have your arms reaching forward, it really gets into the core a little bit more. Start to bend that right knee, step it back, crescent lunge. Big breath in. Exhale, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Knee to nose. Kick it back. Left knee, left elbow. Keeping that knee nice and high. Take it over to the right elbow. Back to the left. Over to the right. Back to the left, stay with it. Kick that foot back up. Bring your knee to your nose. Crescent lunge. And don't worry if that foot lands sort of halfway up your mat. Take your time to shuffle it forwards. Find a good position. And then rise up. If you want to intensify the pose, shuffle that back foot a little bit further back. Hands come together at heart center. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twisting towards your left this time. Think about reaching the crown of the head forward. So there's one long straight line from that back heel all the way to the top of the head. Keep breathing. Choose. Maybe palms stay pressing together. Maybe you open your arms. Maybe you go for that bind. Whatever's going on for you, keep opening the chest. Come back to center, crescent lunge. Start to lean forwards. Lift that back foot. Flex those right toes. Again, if you have space, I kind of can do it on this side. Keep the arms reaching forwards today. Think about just really stretching from the crown of the head to that back heel. Breathe here. Pull the tummy button in and up. Start to bend that left knee, crescent lunge. Breathe in. Breathe out, flow, high to low plank. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Soften knees. Gaze forwards. Lightly, quietly as you can, float to your hands. halfway lift. Folding forwards. Have your big toes touching. Bend your knees forward, chair pose. So really, the body should be feeling nice and warm by now. See if you can sit even lower than you did before. If this feels really tight in the shoulders, you can always cactus the arms here. Start to lower the hips. Lower them all the way down onto the mat. Find your boat pose. So make sure you're right on your seat bones, otherwise you'll probably wobble around a bit. Choose. You have your hands underneath your thighs or you open out. If this is intense and you want to stay where you are, go ahead. Otherwise, it's a low boat, high boat. We're going to do that 3 more times. Choose if you join or not. Low boat, high boat, low boat, high boat. Last one, low boat, and hold it here for 3, for 2, for 1, high boat. From here, place your feet flat to the floor. Bring your hands to the insides of your knees. So your hands are going to come to flat on the floor. So it's this sort of gentle rock. You want to go from seated to hands flat to the floor, crow pose. Bend your elbow, shift forwards, lift the toes up. If you're newer to crow, don't worry about lifting the toes. Just find that rocking sensation. So feet are flat to the floor, rock forwards, hands come to the floor, crow pose. If you're lifted in your crow, stay with it. Keep reaching the crown of the head forwards. For 3, for 2, for 1. Maybe you shoot back, maybe you don't. Maybe you head straight to downward facing dog. Maybe you take a vinyasa. Let's take a sigh, big breath in. Open the mouth, let it go. Soften knees, gaze forwards, walk, step, or jump all the way through to a seated position. Feet flat to the floor. We're going to use our blocks now, so grab hold of your block or your book and just have it sort of close to you. We're going to lower down onto the mat nice and slowly. So as slowly as you can here, keep squeezing the core muscles in and then making your way all the way down onto your mat. Taking a moment here. A couple of deep breaths. Have your feet flat to the floor, hip width apart. And make sure you can just brush your heels with your fingertips. So try not to have the feet too wide or too narrow. Press the feet down and lift the hips, bridge pose. Interlace the fingers underneath you. Walk your shoulder blades further towards each other. Try not to flare the rib cage out here. So often when you start really trying to lift, you really open the rib cage a lot. So even though we want to lift, we want to try and keep things pulled in. So always imagining this line. So our spine can be a good way to think of this and hug everything in towards that. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips higher by pressing the feet down a little bit more. Keep breathing. One more big breath in. And as you exhale, nice and gently roll the spine back along the mat. Sway your knees from side to side. Release the lower back. Let go of anything. We're going to do another one. Options to use your block this time. So I'm going to place my block on the sort of medium width setting in between my thighs. If you're using your block or your book, once it's there, think about squeezing it so much that you're trying to shrink it. So you're squeezing into that block. Notice straight away which muscles switch on. Check where the feet are, and then lift the hips. But keep squeezing the block as you go. You might need to find a good position to have it, so don't worry if you need to fiddle around with it. If it feels good, interlace the fingers underneath you. Walk shoulder blades further towards each other. So focusing on squeezing the block as hard as you can here. Notice how that really lights up the muscles on the inner leg, maybe your glutes a little bit more here. Again, awareness on the rib cage. Don't let that flare open. Keep squeezing the block as hard as you can. Can you lift your hips a little bit higher? And then nice and gently lower yourself all the way back down onto the mat. Remove the block, sway the knees from side to side. We're going to take one more back bend. You choose, you can take another bridge with or without the block. If you're craving for a full wheel, go ahead and put your hands sort of next to your ears. We're nice and warm, so maybe give it a go, even if it's not normally where you go in these classes. Get yourself set up, and then think about just pressing the earth away so much that you lift all the way up into your bridge pose. Wherever your wheel pose, even wherever you are, whether you have the block in between your thighs or not, imagine that you do, and imagine that you're squeezing in towards it. Stay with it for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, 1. Nice and gently lower down, roll the spine along the mat. This time bring the soles of the feet together to touch, just as we started the class. But this time reach your arms overhead so the hands are on the floor behind you. Notice what's happening with the breath. Maybe you're breathing a little bit faster than you were at the start of class. Maybe you can feel or hear your heart beating. Check in that you're not clenching, holding on to anything. See what you can soften here. Bringing yourself back into the room if you close your eyes for a moment there. Trying to keep that connection with your breath. You're going to use your block or your book once more. Bend your knees into that chair pose position that we did at the start of class. And you're going to place your block. It actually works on any setting. So if you have a book, it can go flat. If you want to try both ways, so either the flat edge or the slightly longer edge. I wouldn't go for the really long edge. You're going to lift your head and chest up. And you're going to place your elbow on the other side of the block. So you're holding up the block between the knees and the elbows. From here, you're going to squeeze the block, and then you're going to straighten one leg out at a time. So you can choose if you have your hands sort of interlaced all the way up behind your head, or if you just keep them close to the face, whatever works. So straightening out one leg at a time. Let's do this for 10. For 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. If you lose your block or if it drops down, just lift it back up. Where was I? 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, stay with it. Bring it back in and release. You can let go of that block for a moment. Place your feet to the floor, maybe straight legs. Checking back in. We're going to take one more little exercise with our blocks. This is one of my favorites. So you're going to start flat out on the back. So legs and arms are straight. The block is between the hands. So you're not holding onto it, you're just pressing into it with the palms. So really reaching out. This might feel quite nice after what we've been doing. Squeezing in quite a lot, stretching out might feel nice. From here, you're going to lift your legs up, lift your head up, and place the block in between your shins. You're then going to straighten back out, then lift back up, take the block into the hands. That's 1. So lifting up, place the block in the shins, straighten. Lift up, that's 2. Keep going. I'll try and count you, but it's quite hard to do and speak at the same time. For 3, you can keep the head grounded or lift it as you go. And I'm going to leave you here to keep going, and let's see if you can do 10. So we're on 4, maybe you're on 5. And just keep going, keep breathing as you do it. And this is definitely one of those ones that, even if you don't feel it so much now, tomorrow if something makes you laugh or if you cough, you might feel it right at the top of the abs. And that can be a little reminder of your yoga practice. I've kind of stopped counting, so I'll leave you to do maybe 2 more. Or maybe you're like me and you're just taking a little break. When you have finished, hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Rock side to side. Massage the lower back. Grab the underneath of the thighs. Take a rock and roll. This time we're going to rock and roll into a vinyasa. If you've never tried a shoot back before, I will demo one now. If you have a shoot back, go for it. If you are going for it, grab the underneath of your thighs, take a rock and roll, cross at the ankles, hands come to the mat, shoot back to your bent elbows. It might feel nice to pause in an up dog here, stretching out the core, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Half pigeon on the right. Step your right foot towards your left wrist. Right knee comes towards the right wrist. Check in with the hips before you fold forwards. Maybe place something underneath that right hip if you need to. And then if it feels good, start to fold. Maybe pause on your forearms. Maybe come all the way down onto your forehead. But not forcing anything here. Just going into it as much or as little as you want to today. And as we start slowing everything down, maybe noticing how your body's feeling. Can you feel the practice anywhere? Maybe the pose that you're in right now is causing some tension in the right glute, the right hip. And that's always a great way to place a little bit of mindfulness into your practice by focusing on the body part, the muscle, the area that you're feeling the pose. So it can be something as simple as you pause, you hold a pose. In your mind, you just repeat the body part, the area, the muscle that you're feeling it in 3 times in your head. If you are folding forwards, nice and slowly lift yourself back up. Tuck your left toes under, downward facing dog. Take any movement you need here. And let's go for half pigeon on the left. Take your time to set it up. Again, if your left hip is really far up off the floor, you might want to place a cushion or a block underneath it or the book we were just using. Again, either staying upright, maybe coming onto your forearms, maybe coming all the way down onto your forehead. Just going into this enough that you can really feel sensations, but not so much that it's creating tension to build up in your upper body, and not so much that your breath is getting more difficult. So really checking in, keep the hands relaxed, the shoulders relaxed, the forehead and the jaw. I'm just taking about 2 more deep breaths here. Shift your weight onto your left hip, so roll yourself onto the left. Swing your right leg round so you're seated with both legs out in front of you. Flex the toes back towards you, reach up, and then fold over the legs. So reaching the hands towards the shins, ankles, soles of the feet, wherever they comfortably reach. Really drawing the forehead, the crown of the head forwards, the forehead towards the shins. Some of you might even be able to rest your forehead on your shins. But if you're miles away, if you're sort of hands on the knees, don't worry about it. That's a great place to be too. You might want to close down the eyes, especially if thoughts are coming into your mind of, God, I feel so tight, or why can't I get into this pose anymore? And take a couple of moments to just look inward. So don't think about poses and doing a pose. Yoga is just about practicing moving our bodies with our breath. Make your way all the way back up to seated and then come to lying flat on your back. So any transition, any movement you need. Hug your right knee in towards your chest, give it a nice big squeeze. Maybe let that right knee move a little bit side to side, checking in with that right hip, that right glute. And then let your right knee fall over towards the left. Right arm opens towards the right for your supine twist. See if you can keep both shoulders grounding down here. And notice if your breath feels a little bit more restricted as you twist. And know that in these final few moments of our practice today, see if you can keep going with that full body Ujjayi breath. So even if it feels a little bit more challenging from here, really thinking about expanding through the ribcage. Make your way back to center and top side. So hug that left knee in. You might even want to shift the hips slightly towards the left as well here. And before we go for our twist, just gently rock that left knee side to side. How is that hip, that thigh feeling? Maybe you're feeling it a bit in the glutes. And then once you've done that a few times, let that left knee fall towards the right. Left arm opens towards the left, gazes towards the left. And coming back to center, hug both knees in towards your chest. Bring your forehead towards your knees. Make yourself as small as you possibly can here. Toes, scrunch up your fingers, bring your shoulders up towards your ears. Scrunch up your face, make everything as tense as it can possibly be. Take a big inhale through the nose. Hold it at the top. Exhale out through the mouth. Let go of the arms, of the legs. Come to lying flat on your back. Arms open wide, palms face the ceiling. Let the feet fall open. Close down the eyes. Coming to your final rest, Shavasana. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and just let it go. Do that again. Big breath in. And just let it go. Bring some movement to your fingers, your toes, your wrists, your ankles. Let your head roll from left to right. Reach your arms up overhead. Take a full body stretch. Waking yourself back up. Roll onto your right side into a fetal position. Pausing there. And with as little movement, as little effort as possible, come up to a seated position, hands together at heart center and your eyes closed. Taking a moment to close your practice today by bringing into your mind someone or something that you are grateful for. With that thought of gratitude in your heart, lifting that energy up to your forehead center. And together we bow forwards and say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. Let me know any questions, any feedback you might have. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, rest of your week. I'm back live on Sunday morning. Thank you. Bye.